Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. My name is Joey. I'm with HBYOB. And like we told you 2 weeks ago, we're going to do a taste test with the MaltGems from Briess.
My favorite podcast. When I get a drink, free beer.
To my right, and hopefully your guys' right, is introduce yourself.
Easy. Easy kill. Mark, whatever you want to call me. I'm easy.
So what we're doing today is we had a podcast a couple weeks ago, and I brewed with a new product out. I was able to swing some of it to Easy before I was on my way to work today. He's got it poured in his glass. You want to show everybody your glass?
Yeah. I got
pretty clear.
Looks pretty clear.
Yeah.
I don't. If that's what you were shooting for, it's very clear. A little bit of head on there.
For now, a 2-week beer, it's not bad.
It is right. It is just a 2-week beer. Little on the young side for me. I'm an old guy, but that's okay.
So I don't want to show you all mine because I couldn't find growlers for the life of me. So if you see me drinking out of a mason jar, that's all I had. And I figured it's a pretty good glass. I can still smell it. So you don't have
HBYOB glasses there. What
I do, but they're all dirty in my sink.
Well, I guess quickly, people who weren't here 2 weeks ago, explain what we're sampling.
So we used a new product out, and what it was is it's called MaltGems. It's by Briess. Basically similar to a Carafa malt. It's a dehusked base grain.
Right.
So the benefit to it is you don't have to worry about tannins. We discussed that in the last podcast. If you haven't watched it, go back and visit that. But another big thing is it's great for lautering. It also gets great efficiency, which we learned. So far, so good. Now we're taste testing the beer.
Now describe the recipe you used.
I don't remember, but 100%. But
okay,
It's a smash beer. So basically means a single malt and single hop. The single malt that we used was the Briess MaltGems.
Yes,
it's a Pilsen malt. That's the reason why it's been so pale yellow in color. And then we used mosaic hops as a bittering, flavor, and aroma addition. Now, I will admit it's closer for a Pilsen malt. It's closer to a pale ale. So I wanted some aromatics from the beer because being that it's just Pilsen malt, I didn't want it to be too boring of a beer. So I added, some later additions. Before we get to the taste test, I had a special announcement. I was just informed yesterday that we've officially been open for 4 years. So thank you all very much for all of your support.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yesterday was 4 years officially. Hopefully there'll be many more years to come. So thank you all very much. I do appreciate it. Anything you want to add, Mark, before we taste this beer? Have you tasted it yet? I've clearly tasted quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Wow. You cheat all the time.
Well, I mean, I haven't had as much time to brew as I'd like to, so I don't have too much on tap at home.
Nope, I haven't touched it at all. Like I said, it's I know it's young. It does have a fruity smell. I don't know if that's just me.
That's from the mosaic hop.
Yeah. So that's what I'm getting. Do you want me to go ahead and take a drink?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, tastes quite a bit of the hops.
Yeah, but it's not super bitter.
No, you didn't. Me and you have talked a lot. You take the word. We never let either one of us never finish a sentence when we're talking not on a podcast.
Well, if you know either one of us, that's no matter who we talk to, that's going to be the scenario.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. There was no bitterness to it really at all. So
but it's not sweet.
No, it's not sweet. And again, very clean. You didn't filter it at all, right? I mean, you didn't do anything. Does this clear of a beer have anything to do with the hops you use, do you think?
So, no. The hops, of all things, are going to add some haziness to the beer.
The malt that we used. I'm sorry.
And Pilsen malt is actually being used a lot now for, like, New England styles of beer because of the proteins in there. It can keep it hazy. I will admit I did use gelatin because I wanted, for as pale of a beer this is, I want it to be clear. So I did put gelatin with the beer when I caked it because I did want a clear beer.
Now that you said that, it has to me, I don't drink as many craft beers as you. It actually has a Samuel Adams taste to it. Just
like Boston Lager?
Yeah.
Well, it's very clean fermenting yeast. I used US-05, just good old US-05, which is a California ale yeast. It's a dry yeast. I kept this beer as simple as I could. And so, I mean, for a dry yeast, even you're kind of saying it's clean.
Yeah, I mean, very clean beer.
No, I mean, when you said at first you got some fruit, I thought
Yep.
it was like some esters, but I mean, in the palate, it is a very clean beer.
Yeah, very good. You did. I mean, and again, I always know 2 weeks longer, this might, change a little bit,
Yeah.
but because I'm assuming, how did you carbonate it? Just force?
Well, that's where it's kind of strange is I did ferment this beer under pressure, which that's more of an advanced thing. We did get the new all-rounders fermenters. They are here in the store now. They were out of stock for quite a while. They are here again. So that's what I used to ferment this beer. I fermented under pressure at around 12 PSI.
What's the advantage?
The beer's carbonated when it's done.
Okay.
So I didn't force carbonate this. I pressure transferred it into the keg and put it on gas.
I have foot rolled many of corny kegs in front of watching the TV while you sit there and force the carb in it.
One of the benefits to fermenting under pressure is you don't have to carb a beer like that anymore. I mean, it's carbonated when you're done. Being that I wanted to do this video in 2 weeks, that was a big reason why I fermented this beer under pressure. And I also think that's the reason why, for only being 2 weeks old, it's as clean as it is now. I mean, it is a very clean. I don't think it's like cloyingly sweet. I don't think bitterness wise. I mean, I did not bitter it very heavily. I think if I remember correctly, the recipe was 35 IBUs. So I wasn't trying to get something that was going to blow you off your palate as far as bitterness goes. I did add some later additions because, like I said, since it just was a base malt, I didn't want it to be like too boring of a beer. So I did want some aroma and some flavor from the hops, which I think is coming through quite pleasantly.
Yeah. Now back again, I know you say you don't remember the recipe, but because we were using the new malt in the recipe, how much malt did you end up using? I know at the beginning you weren't sure if you're going to use all 10 pounds or if you're going to use 8. I know we talked about last time, but I don't remember.
I ended up using 10 pounds, I believe, total. I don't have the recipe in front of me, but I do believe it's just 10 pounds total.
So you did 10 pounds, but that was the point. You really could maybe get by with less if you wanted.
Yeah. So that was what I ended up coming from. I overshot the gravity from what I was calculating. So you could use less of this malt if you're going to want to use it into a recipe. I know Tony, a good friend of mine that came in, he's using it. Hopefully I'll get some report back from him. But so far, like I said, I would give this, honestly, I mean, forget beer preferences, whether you like stouts or porters or, IPAs or whatever. If you was to say, is there anything that you're getting on your palate, you're like, I just don't really like this?
No. I mean, because of what it is, I know it's just, it's a base beer. I'm getting the hops. So it's, pretty clean. Obviously I would drink this and I will. I did. I know a guy, so I did get mine in a nice HBYOB growler.
Yeah, I gave you the nice growler. Apparently, I've given quite a few other samples. I'm stuck with old.
I actually have a shelf that has
Popcorn Sutton tasting glass.
Yeah, I have a shelf with multiple of these. My wife's like, one of these days you got to get these to Joey. So, but that's the fun part. I get to do the taste test. So. Back to this malt, when would you not use this? What type of recipe would you say, okay, this isn't, this type of malt isn't what I would want to use?
Honestly, if I'm going to be, the only time I would think to not use this malt would be something if, say, you wanted to do a stout or a porter where you really need that kind of malty backbone to your beer. Hopefully they'll do the same MaltGem process with other grains, being that this is a Pilsen malt. I guess to answer your question, because this is a Pilsen malt,
right?
I would use it with any beer that you normally would have used Pilsen malt with.
Right.
And hopefully if this gains enough popularity, we'll get it in pale ale and, two-row and all of the other spectrums.
Because still from the last show, the issue to me is cleanup and less chance of scorch and all that type stuff. There's still a lot of benefit. And obviously the benefit could be a little less grain needing to be used. What was the alcohol What was your level on this? Did you
So
say?
that is actually a fantastic question. My final gravity, I hit the same numbers that was estimated. So I want to say that the estimated final gravity was 1.0. I don't remember. I just remember I used a tilt hydrometer and I hit the final gravity that was estimated with the recipe. So even though I overshot the starting gravity, I didn't. I overshot the starting gravity, but the final gravity was the same. So if you use this product in your recipe, normally calculates, whatever it may be, still dial it into your recipe as a Pilsen malt. Right. Because even the recipe builder I bought did not have this malt as one of the options.
And I know when we talked a couple weeks ago, this was a product you ordered as a sample. Is it something you now have available?
Yeah. So I definitely got more of it in. Like I said, I was blown away by this product. I think this is definitely, I wouldn't say a game changer, but I would say it's something that your avid brewers will start to introduce into their brewing systems. And hopefully as other maltsters kind of borrow this idea of what they're doing, or as Briess gets other malts, I'm looking forward to that happening. Because like I said, right to my best knowledge, all it's available is the Pilsen malt.
Right, because I mean, it's like anything else. They'll sample something that's popular and then eventually add it to other things if people adapt to it. And like I said, at some point they need to know, will people pay a little extra for the benefits?
Well, we discussed it in the last podcast. I don't believe that it's more expensive. I really don't, because you don't need as much of it. So
right. That's true. We did talk about that.
Yeah. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brew a stout with it.
Well, that comes down to how hard or how easy is it to educate the consumer still.
Yeah. So the next recipe I'm going to do is I'm going to do my stout recipe that's higher in gravity, because this malt is kind of advertised as a high gravity malt. If you want to do a high gravity beer, this malt's going to help you get there. So I'm going to do I have a stout recipe I've done a zillion times. My keg is like 2 beers away from being empty on that one. So I'm going to brew that beer next. I'm going to use the same malt bill. And if I overshoot the gravity or even get my estimated gravity, I'll be super ecstatic. I'm going to add a little bit more flaked barley to my recipe, just try to give the beer a little bit of body back that I know I'm going to lose with the Pilsen malt. So, I mean, I'm going to tweak the recipe just slightly to try to kind of, counter what I'm trying to do. But hopefully we all homebrewers get out there, buy this product, use this product into our beers, because I honestly see this as being this is a niche product, but in that niche, I really feel like this will be a malt that doesn't change. It's not a game changer. This isn't something revolutionary, but I really feel like for your average home brewer or even brewery, this could be something that you don't have to wait for a grain mill to run all day. I mean, I see where this malt fits into a niche, but it is kind of a niche product.
All right. Like I said, I think it's a very good, very clean beer. And like I said, when you have a gallon or 2 left, I'll get another growler of it and see how it matured.
That gallon or 2 may be gone by the end of the week, because I've not made as much time to brew as I need to. But certainly, like I said, I put a link in the description. If you want to brew the same beer me and Easy are drinking right now, it is available on our website. I would say, all right, so now that we've used the malt, we admit it's a clean beer, clean fermenting. It's not too hoppy, but then again, does have hop presence. Beer-wise, if you was a beer judge, 1 out of 10, what would you give this beer? You won't hurt my feelings.
Oh, well, you know me. I'm not a judge of beer because I'll drink anything. I've never thrown a beer away.
Okay.
I would say,
if you went to your local pub, would you ask for a second pint of this? Or would you try the next one?
The way this beer, because of the fruitiness, this to me is kind of a standalone type beer, meaning if I'm not eating a burrito or not eating pizza, meaning it has its own flavor. It brings its own taste to the game. If I'm just sitting in my chair watching a ball game, drinking this would be
it's
a great
above
beer.
A lawnmower beer.
Oh, definitely above a lawnmower beer. Okay. Sure. It's a like I said, that the argument if I have against it is it actually has so much unique little fruitiness and flavor that to me it stands up on its own. So, like I said, if I just want to sit down and drink a growler of it, which I'm probably going to do as soon as we're off here, it stands out by itself, versus, a simpler something with less stuff. Then I would, I would rate this as a home brew, probably 8, 7.5, 8, right in that range. I don't know what you were hoping for.
I would have gave it a 6. I mean, is it the best beer I've ever? Go ahead.
I know you drink and do a lot more than me. Here's why I'm saying though. You know me, I'm not really a big IPA or a big hoppy guy. The hoppiness here is a little different because it doesn't have that bitterness. It's very clean. It's not a lot more beer, but when I'm drinking it, it's not like real heavy either. I mean, I'm I would enjoy this. I'm going to give it, like I said, about a 7.5. And I will drink the rest of it here when we're done. And
if you had 5 gallons of this, would you want another 5 gallons, or would you be ready to move on?
Well, we've always had that discussion.
I would be ready to move on if I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay, but if I'm going to be honest, that's every home brewer. No home brewer ever cooks it never makes the same beer. Everybody wants to make something different, better. I'm not sure what a home brewer is ever looking to make, but unless you become a real brewery and you realize, okay, my customer wants this and I have to repeat it, constantly. But, I'm not sure I ever made too many different beers, at the same, over more than one time, but, I'll drink this. Very good.
As a trial, like I said, as a trial beer to do the recipe. I mean, if you guys want to try it, this recipe, like I honestly just came up with it kind of off the top of my head. I rarely do it. If you come in here, I always tell people, don't ask me to come up with a recipe off the top of my head. That is what I did here. So if you want to, like I said, there is a link in the description if you want to brew it and have what we have. But it would be fun. I use Mosaic hops because I really like Mosaic hops, and I like the earthy and fruity and all the good esters, or not esters, but things you get from Mosaic. I definitely would drink this beer. I'm gonna have no problem getting through this keg. Is it something I brew time and time again? It's not part of my. I
mean, if I went to a new brewery, this weekend and sat down and said, "Give me your house beer," and that's what they gave me. If that's what they gave me, I would say, "Hey, that's not bad," and then I'd try something else. I mean, it's just the way it is. Frank wants to know it's a smash, and it is. I mean, he wants to know if it is, and that's what it is. So,
but it's a single malt, single hop. Like I said, we use the MaltGems. I had great results with my brewing setup. I really enjoy it. I'm going to brew more beers with this because I want to continue to go down the rabbit hole with it. And hopefully you guys want to do the same. We can show some love over to Briess, and hopefully they'll do it with some of their other malts. And like I said, is this a game changer? No. If your local homebrew store or online vendor doesn't stock this, I would say still go ahead and brew your recipe. Just know you're not going to get as much efficiency out of it. If you use a more traditional grain, but I'm ready to do some more experiments with it. If you guys have any experiments you'd like us to do, I always like, using different products. So just let me know. I can be kind of the guinea pig on some of these things, and we'll take it from there. I like to try to do this every 2 weeks if we can. So hopefully you all have a few moments to sit down and drink beer with us, share some beer with us. If you could tag some things, let me know. If you have some beers you want me to review, let me know. We can certainly do that as well. But if you got anything to add, Mark, I think we'll wrap things up.
I got beer to drink.
I know I got this much to go, and then I'm debating that or go home. I think I'm just
be careful. You have to drive home. Be careful. You have to drive home. I am home. I'm going to finish my grind.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for 4 years, and hopefully we have many more to come. Honestly, it means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.